What's up, YouTube? It is Monday morning. We are 2.5 weeks out from the show. So getting pretty excited. I had check-ins yesterday with Ross. It was 230.6. So I got a slight refeed yesterday. No cardio, and he told me to rest. So for me, that meant about half my normal amount of steps. So I think I got about 6,000, and that's just from doing chores around the house, grocery shopping, meal prepping, 10-minute post-meal walks if I needed them. Stuff like that. But I definitely, my legs at least definitely needed the little cardio break, especially after the long night I had Friday night at work. We had actually two long nights in a row, Thursday and Friday, both JV and then varsity football. We had lightning delays for over an hour, which meant we didn't start until over an hour later than we normally do, which means we end over an hour later than we normally do. So I did a lot more standing than usual in a stagnant place, which is kind of typical for football games if no one gets hurt, which is my goal as the athletic trainer. But so my legs were pretty beat up, and then also my leg days are on Thursdays. So moving forward, I'm probably going to change my leg days to like earlier in the week, maybe Monday or Tuesdays. Especially during football season, just because of the leg fatigue issue. So I could totally switch it up and go legs Monday, legs Monday, and then arms Tuesday, Wednesday back, delts Thursday. Shit, no, because that'd almost be a push back to back. Anyways, I'm gonna change it up to where I'm not doing legs on game days or the day after game, or the day before game days, because I don't have a home JV football game every week, but I do have varsity football requirements every week. So after the show, I'll probably change it up to where I'm doing legs on Mondays, and that way it'll also give me some more rest before leg days, or like over the weekend rest. But who knows? I didn't do that last year during my quote-unquote off season, but I haven't had like a true off season yet, so who knows? Talk with Ross, see what he thinks. But anyways, today's a push day. We're not going to change the training schedule this close to the show, unless Ross tells me to. During the last week, I only trained back and chest, and I did it in backwards days. So normally Monday's international chest day or push day, but that last week I did back on Monday, and then Tuesday was push. But that was what Ross told me to do, so that's what I did. But unless he changes it, we're just going to keep it the same. But yeah, so I was talking with my dad the other day, and just sent him a screenshot of like the countdown for when we fly to Houston, because he and I are flying together, which is gonna be really cool. You know, just get that experience together, and you know, just that extra just one-on-one time, because he and I don't get that very often anymore. You know, just because of my kids, and he's retired and I'm not. But so anyways, I was talking to him and sent him a screenshot of like the countdown of the flight. You know, just basically saying that, you know, it's so close, and now it's almost like you gotta find stuff to do to get distracted throughout the day, so I'm not getting so anxious or overthinking or too excited about the show, because I don't want to unnecessarily, you know, spike my cortisol too much, because then I won't be able to sleep, and then it'll just fuck with my sleep schedule and sleep patterns, which it has before. And but so far so good. You know, this past weekend I had to stay at a hotel after that Friday night game. Well, I didn't have to, but I chose to, and I'm glad I did, because we didn't get done with the game until after 11, and it was in Orlando, so that would have been like a 2.5 hour drive home for me, and that would have not been fun. But yeah, just sleeping in the hotel that one night, you know, I took all my stuff with me, took my food, took all my supplements, all my super supplements, as they call it, and everything was actually pretty decent, which is normally not the case. Normally I sleep like shit in hotels, so I think this new regimen of taking out the melatonin and adding in the magnolia bark extract and valerian root, I think that's really helped. You know, and I'm still continuously, slowly increasing my dose of niacin. Last week I was at 7 tablets. This week I'm bumping up to 8. And the way I measure that is pretty much you bump up when you don't get the flush effect anymore. But the caveat with that is if you've eaten anything within the last, I'd say, 1.5 to 2 hours, any kind of like heavy meal, your body is still trying to digest that food, and your liver is still trying to process you know, the food and all those nutrients. So any kind of supplements you take are going to take a back seat for a long time, until your liver can more or less get to it. So I always try to make sure my last meal is no later than 9 p.m., especially if I'm trying to go to bed by like 11:30, midnight. You know, there's like mixed science on, you know, if that actually affects, you know, weight loss or anything. I feel like it does, primarily just because it affects my quality of sleep. So like, it's not a direct cause and effect, but it's definitely an indirect cause and effect, in my opinion. You know, if your daily caloric intake is supposed to be 2,000 calories a day, let's say you fast all day long, you don't eat anything, and then you eat one 2,000 calorie meal at 11 p.m., and then like you finish the meal at 11, and then you literally crawl into bed and try to go to sleep at 11:15, 11:30, you're gonna have a rough time trying to sleep. Food's gonna be feel like it's in your throat. You're gonna feel like you can't breathe. But as opposed to if you split that up to 5 or 6 meals a day, and your last meal is at 8:30 or 9, your stomach's pretty much has digested that 400 to 500 calorie meal, and you have a lot better chance of sleeping really well. So technically the calories are the same throughout the day, but the way it's all timed and the way your body can handle that kind of load. And I'm not talking about protein, because I know we can synthesize protein like up to and over 100 grams per meal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying total caloric load before bed. So, and protein type matters too. So I've been playing around with that a little bit this past couple weeks, because like I've said before on here for the YouTube channel and on my Instagram, in the mornings, because I do my cardio hard. I typically, because right now I'm doing 70 minutes a day, 70. But typically I'll do 30, 20, 20. I'll do 3 different sessions throughout the day. And that morning session I go the hardest for sure, because I want to burn the most amount of fat as I can on an empty stomach. Talking about science again, there's science that'll say that fasted cardio burns more fat. There's science that'll say that it doesn't. There's science that says that it doesn't matter, as long as you do X amount of minutes per week at X amount of percentage of your heart rate, then you'll burn X amount of percentage of fat no matter what. So but I believe in starting your day off as hard as you can. That way the rest of your day seems easier. So that's why I do 30, 20, 20. And my 30 minutes is 15 minutes of Stairmaster with my heart rate anywhere from 135 to 145. And then I immediately hop off that. Then I go to the incline treadmill, and I walk at a level 10 incline grade at least 2.7 miles per hour, sometimes 3 miles per hour. And for me, at 6'4" and 230 pounds, 2.7 and 3 miles per hour is pretty quick. I have long ass legs, and they're heavy, and when you just got off the Stairmaster, they're really heavy. But yeah, and that's my 30 minutes. I'm drenched in sweat when I get done. But then after that, I was talking about the protein, playing around with protein types. That, and I know I've said it before, so you guys are probably tired of me saying it, but I'm just so not hungry, like that. According to Joe Bentley and his Fuel to Thrive ebook and all the science he's putting out, the GDF-15 signaling is so strong after that hard cardio, on top of the omegatide I'm taking, which is retatrutide combined with cagrilintide, however you say it, CAG, Reta and CAG. So the Reta, if you don't know, is a triple agonist. It's a GLP, GIP, and glucagon agonist. And then the CAG is an amylin receptor agonist. What that means, I have no clue. I'd have to do more research on exactly what it does. But basically, from my understanding, that's what really, for me anyways, compared to the Retta, it really, really takes away the food noise. To where like I literally don't think about food. And in the rare times throughout the day, if I do get actually hungry and my hunger signals are actually like turned on, my ghrelin's actually like spiking, I'll go, wow, I'm actually hungry. Okay. I'm gonna actually eat now and eat when I'm supposed to. And then like the meal will be like 7 ounces of protein. So it'll be like 7 ounces of chicken, or in this case for this week, like 4 ounces of ground beef, 3 ounces of chicken. And you look at it and you just go, Jesus Christ, that's not a lot of food. But then you get like 4 bites in out of like your 15 bite meal, and you're like, oh, all right, well, kind of full now. It's just, from me personally and my fat ass former self and my fat ass former, lifestyle, it's just so wild to have that happen in my brain and in my body. So that's one of the things I'm actually looking forward to, outside of prep season, is lowering / changing to just Retta instead of the Retta and CAG, but lowering the Retta dose so I can still get like the insulin sensitivity benefits, the nutrition partitioning benefits, it basically cures. I mean, I don't have it because I have no visceral fat right now, but it basically cures non-alcohol fatty liver disease. So all those benefits, I'm pretty sure, are still seen or found, regardless of like dosage. So like, I know there's some bodybuilders who actually openly say online that they're taking like 0.5 milligram up to like 1 milligram per week in their off season, and it's helping them grow like crazy because it's keeping their insulin sensitivity high, because it's keeping their visceral fat down, which is keeping their insulin resistance down, which is, stabilizing their blood sugars, which is keeping them from getting diabetes, essentially. And that's where, you get the quote-unquote bubble gut from, supposedly. Now, I do think high dosage GH probably has some aspects to do with it, but I think with this addition of Retta, I think we're going to see a lot of tighter midsections throughout off seasons. So it'll be interesting. It's really interesting, like really diving headfirst into this sport and really learning as much about it as I can, and just trying to gain as much knowledge as I can. Let's see. Oh yeah, so with the refeed yesterday, complete rest day. I went on scale. Now this is just scale weight. I went from 230.6 on Sunday morning to 234.6 this morning. The only reason I'm not freaking out is because I pretty much had at least, what did I have yesterday? I think I had at least like 50 to 60 grams of carbs. Maybe it was like 40 to 50. Yeah, it was probably less than that. It was like 30 to 50, anywhere in there, grams of carbs per meal yesterday. So for every gram of carbohydrate you intake, especially in my opinion starch, because not all carbs are created equal, but especially starch, you actually retain between 3 and 4 grams of water. So let's just say conservatively, if we like average it out to like 40 grams of carbs per meal, 5 meals, 200 grams of carbs times 4, 800 grams of water was like 800 milliliters. 1 ounce is 30 milliliters, so 900 grams would be about 900 milliliters, which would be about 30 ounces. And then a gallon of water is 8.33 pounds. And so let's bump it up to 130 ounces for a gallon of water, just for simple math. And then we could divide that for simple math by 4-ish. So, well, basically a quarter. So, a quarter of 8.33 is about right over 2 pounds. So 2 pounds of just pure water retention from the increased carbs, plus another 2 pounds just from food volume. So that's about right. 4 pounds is about right. So not freaking out, because I'm back on my normal training day diet today, which is pretty much only carbs, pre and post workout, and then pretty much the rest of the day is just protein, which, like I said, with this GLP and the GDF-15 signaling I'm getting after hard cardios, hard workouts and stuff, I'm just not hungry. So earlier when I was talking about playing around with different protein sources, since I have literally zero hunger after my morning cardio, been playing around. I'm supposed to have 7 ounces of chicken, 80 grams of rice, and I've had like this more or less this plan for like 2 weeks. And that first week, man, I literally would make my meal and sit down and just stare at it. Like I would take 1 or 2 bites of the chicken and rice, and it's not that much. 80 grams is like 3 tablespoons. But I would just stare at it, and I would just stare at it, and then I just wouldn't eat it. So I know I need to get nutrition in before my workouts. I'm enhanced, so I'm not really worried about going catabolic, because I shoot hormones in my ass, in my shoulders, and my lats. But I know I need to get it in for just nutrition in general. But I switched it up, or I've been switching it up. I have these Genius shots, which I don't know who's the overall owner of the company, but I'm pretty sure it's like RP, Renaissance Periodization, because Mike Isertel is the one that kind of primarily promotes it, and he says they created it, but I don't know if Genius Shot is like its own separate company or whatever. But anyways, one of those has 23 grams of protein, 0 fat, 0 carbs, and 7 ounces of chicken, has pretty much right at 46 grams of protein. So I do 2 of those, which actually saves me about 3 to 5 grams of fat compared to 7 ounces of chicken, depending on, you know, where you get your chicken from and all that stuff. But and then for the carbs, instead of doing 2 of those little genius shots in rice, which would just be weird, I do 2 rice cakes. So it's still a starch. It's still going to provide me glucose for the workout, and it's still the same carb amount. So 80 grams of rice is about 22 grams of carbs, and each rice cake is 11 grams of carbs. So kind of just macro match for that. You know, it's tasty, allows me to eat it faster, I can digest it better. You know, I promote listening to your coach and doing what they say, but also at the end of the day, you know, you almost have to do what you think is best for yourself, considering all the variables. But you know, what I've been doing has been working, so you know, that's pretty much the only other thing that I adjust. I still do chicken and rice and pineapple after the workout, and then all my other meals. The only thing I change is I take out the veggies, because the veggies really, I mean, my gastric motility is already slow. My gut emptying is already slow. So I don't need any extra fiber. I don't need any extra things that are going to slow it down even further. So that's why I take those out, and they just make me distended and feel weird, and I don't feel light like in the gut when I eat them. When I'm taking this high dose of you know, omegatide. So we'll see what happens in the off season. I don't believe personally that we need veggies in general. I'm pretty sure there are several multivitamin pills or multivitamin powder supplements that you can take that you can get just as high quality, if not better high quality micronutrients from those than you can from vegetables. And when you do that, you don't have to worry about getting E. coli, and you know, making sure your vegetables are clean or organic or, you know, fucking whatever, or cooked enough so the cellulose can break down in your gut. All kinds of shit. But anyways, I just pulled up to the gym. Still have like half my pre-workout to drink. That's another weird thing on these GLPs, man. Like, not only are you not hungry, most of the time you're not thirsty either. So like, you really almost have to like push the water. And I use I use a lot of like the water flavoring stuff. I normally just use like the Publix brand, but I'll use like the Mio. I haven't tried Drink More, MOR. I know that's Chris Tuttle's brand. He's you know, one of his coaching clients is Jordan Hutchison, who's freaking killing it right now. But I haven't tried his brand yet because it's so fucking expensive. So if he wants to send me some for free, I'll definitely try it. But I think like just price comparison, the Publix, like one of the little squeeze bottles is like $2.89, like just normally. And I would say like every other week or every third week, they're on sale, like buy one get one free. And I think like one of the Drink More little bottles is like at least twice that cost. It's like $6, $7, $8. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And I know the Mio ones, unless they're on sale, they're like $4.19 a little bottle or whatever. And that's just crazy. But I use those to make the water taste better. So I actually drink it easier. But yeah, when I'm not on high rate of dose, it's drinking water is no problem. At one point, last football season, when it was super duper freaking hot outside, I think I was drinking like close to 300 ounces a day. I think I've talked about this before, but I think the SLU PP332 that I'm taking, because it supposedly has beneficial properties for kidneys as well. I'd have to do more research on what exactly those are. But my theory is, if it's healing your kidneys or making them operate better, then your perfusion's better, meaning you can hold water in the cell better. And then meaning you don't need as much water, to function. So we'll see, but I do need to do more research on that, just for my own personal knowledge. But speaking of dosages and SLU is not really a PED, but sort of is. Ross increased the clen for this week up to 100 micrograms, splitting the dose, obviously not all 100 at once. Proviron went up, so I'm now at 50 milligrams 3 times a day. And test is at 450 a week, mass is at 900 a week. Doing Trin Ace 75 milligrams a day. I'll probably stay at 75 for the remainder of the show, or the remainder of the prep. I bumped that up last week, I believe. And then pretty much everything else is the same, I think, that I have in play. With the SLU, I'm going to change up my dosing strategy a little bit, because what I did last time in prep seemed to work pretty good that last week. So I'm going to see if I do it again a couple weeks out, see what happens. But so basically I'm going to do 500 micrograms fasted in the morning and at night, and then 250 micrograms with each meal, because it's supposed to be a exercise mimetic, meaning it basically tricks your body into thinking that it's working out and exercising. But that doesn't mean like you just sit on your ass and you're gonna lose weight. But in the last prep, that last week, that's basically what I was doing, along with all the other things that I was doing. So I don't know how much it helped, but I know it didn't hurt. So we're gonna do that. I'll start that. I already started that today. So I did 500 micrograms this morning before my cardio, and then took another one with my first meal, like 250 micrograms with meal one. And I'll just do 250 with each meal, and then 500 first thing in the morning and last thing at night. I think that's about it for this little car chat pre-workout. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about, want me to film, record, anything like that, just let me know. Or shoot me a DM on Instagram. I know I got one message yesterday, asking if I had a video that detailed my experience with my back. And I have so many videos of stuff that contain like videos of the stuff I dealt with, but I don't think I've ever sat down and made like an extensive, like this was my experience with my back surgery kind of video. So I'll probably make that, because that guy seemed pretty genuine. asking about it, and he said he kind of is going through the same thing, and you know, he was just trying to look for someone who's also been through it, and that you know, not even his family can really understand, which I totally get, unless you've been through it. You know, the pain, the unnerving, the uneasiness, like the doubt that you can have, like, I don't want to go do this thing with my family because it might involve like going to theme parks, for example. For like the first 2 years after my surgery, I didn't want to go to theme parks because I was too scared. Like, I didn't want to go and let everyone down by not going on the rides because I was too scared to hurt my back again. Like, so that kind of stuff. So I'm going to make a longer, more detailed video about that and my experience. And hopefully, you know, hopefully it helps this guy, and hopefully it helps someone else going through something similar. Because that's pretty much why I do everything for this YouTube and my Instagram, is, you know, to either inspire someone to start their own fitness journey, or, you know, to help someone who's currently on it, going through it right now, is on the other side, you know, just needs, you know, continued guidance or direction or whatever. But I'm gonna stop yapping and go knock out this chest workout. All right, have a good Monday.